It's my first time to join this meeting. Yeah.
Really?
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So, thank you for being here tonight to spend the next 1 hour together to meditate. This session is being streamed via YouTube at the same time via by. So if people want to join this more interactive session, you can join the link by from YouTube. But if you still want to stay on YouTube to watch, it doesn't matter. So today, it's Wednesday. It is very warm outside. But during the very special situation, probably a very special one for a lifetime, most people have stayed at home for the quarantine because the potential contraction of the virus.
Joyce.
And so, no matter what we have been doing today, for this space and time, let's try to calm down, to look within. You know, for many people, it can be a little challenge during this time because, you know, many people are living on the reactions to each other in the office. Now most people have stayed at home. It can be easy to feel bored for some people. And it's a very tricky issue because we are so easily bored in any way. Why we are bored? And why we feel terrible when we feel bored? To understand this, we can meditate. For many people who have never done meditation before, they join the meditation to calm down, to be happy, to be peace. But after they have done a long time meditation, actually, their purpose has become to let go of the self. Because after one has experienced the meditation thoroughly, which means that one has explored one's mind thoroughly, one will know the source of the issues, the problems. We can't simply be happy to be happy, right? The only thing we can do is to understand ourselves. We are so because, you know, subconsciously, we are refusing a fact. A very simple fact is that we are empty. So we have been devised all kinds of ways to fill in the mind, so to speak, to keep us busy. So being busy is also very tricky stuff for many of us. Sometimes we want to relax, but when we find have nothing to do, we begin to feel bored. And then we began to be busy. And we began to stress out. And then come back to doing nothing and feel bored. Again, doing something to keep busy. And then get stressed out. So we might notice this kind of a vicious circle all the time. Simply, we can't really accept that we are empty. As a human, the mind is empty. We always want to engage ourselves in something to hopefully to make us believe that we are not empty. But it failed. I think everybody can feel it, right? Can we be friends with being empty? To fully accept that, okay, I'm empty. It's not to say that you do nothing. Or I don't persuade you to do nothing. But means psychologically, mentally, we accept that fact that we are just empty. To set us free mentally. When we have nothing to do, especially during this time of the lifetime, we fear being empty. Do we? So we try to do something to keep us engaged. I mean, it's not to deny doing something, but the intention behind it is something we need to reflect upon. Can we accept that we are bored sometimes? Or just be friends with it. Don't judge it. Don't negate it. Don't run away from it. So, to understand this part, we need to look within, not listen to what I said. Because what I said is only my very limited observation, which is transferred by very limited language. But your observance is very powerful when you really look within. Look within without any judgment or interpretation. Just see what they are. Because everybody can feel your mind. Your mind is yours, actually, physically. So only you can feel your mind without speaking or verbalizing. So when we really able to observe what is going on the mind without judgment, without giving a view, we tend to say it's good, it's bad, or it's proper, it's improper. We try to use a theory to give an explanation to that. Can we not do that? Just observe the mind. Now, at this moment, non-judgmentally, without relying on the past knowledge or experience. To be able to do that is to meditate. And of course, it's more than breath meditation. Breath meditation which we will do, of course, during this session in a few minutes, is only the form of meditation. So it means that you can devise many different forms. Reading, doing sport, running outside. If you do it in a meditative way, it's meditation. To be able to observe the mind, we need to calm down deeply first. I think many of us can feel that it's never easy to calm down. Even we can say that I'm calm, I'm very calm. To pretend to be calm. But actually, in the mind, it is always churning all the time. Calm down deeply. It's something we need to do with our attention. A truly calm mind is like a peaceful lake, right? When the lake is very peaceful, you can see the bottom, the inner side of your consciousness. But if the water is still churning all the time, there'll be a lot of sands and moss running through the water. You can't see the bottom. Even from outside, it is still look peaceful, but it is muddy. So for us to meditate is to calm down first deeply. That's very important, because when we really calm down truly, any small disturbance will be noticed by you easily. If I threw a small stone into the peaceful lake, you can see where the ripple is and where the stone fall into. But if the water is very violent, very turbulent, any small disturbance won't be noticed and only added to new chaos. So when we try to notice what is going on in the mind, calming down is very essential. But this part can be used for many other, mindfulness practice. Just calm down and relax. It is okay, but it's just only the byproduct of meditation. When we say meditation, we mean that with this very calm mind, we could observe further of the content of the consciousness, to realize all kinds of thoughts we are stuck in. The thoughts can be illusions, can be a mental image, an ideology, or some kind of a unproven or unexamined beliefs, assumptions, a lot of things, biases, even your culture setup. Can be a very disturbing experience to outside experience, because everybody experience something disturbance. But when we look within the mind to see what it is, for people who is at the very beginning stage, it is also can be very disturbing. But this disturbing is different from the normal disturbance we have had. Actually, because as long as we have something different from what we held in the past, it always causes conflicts, shake your mind, and you feel shocked and disturbed. But in daily life, it's so easy for us to accumulate so much ridiculous beliefs, so many biases. So when we say the truth, I mean, what is going on in the mind, without any imputation, it is shocking. But I would say it's shocking in a healthy way. Another big issue, actually, we consider in meditation is about our life and death. But look at our culture. No matter which country you come from, which culture you come from, in each culture, we have defined all kinds of illusions, thoughts, ideas to interpret life and death. All these kind of interpretations block us from seeing the truth. We are animals. We are part of the natural circle. Life and death is only an idea, and then we react to the idea. But we don't have the opportunity to see the truth. Life and death is always there. So this is just an example of meditation. It's to see what it is. That is not easy for many people, to be honest. Because we always take a refuge in all kinds of stories, interpretations. But we have to face it eventually. Either we can learn it to fit it now by conscious living, or we can learn the hard way by a lesson the life can teach us. It's up to us to choose. I think most people has subconsciously go for the latter way, the latter one, right? Just to learn the hard way. The harder, the more enjoyable for them, maybe. I don't know. So that's why to meditate is to live truly consciously. So, for many different teachers or other people, they have different experiences like conscious living, Buddhism, Taoism, Hinduism, or mindfulness meditation. There are so many names, but it's all about this. Just simply be with the truth. When we see the truth and be with it, nothing will shock you, right? Anymore. Because you know what is the illusion behind it. You know why it happens from the nature of the mind. So when you really be with what is, there's natural equanimity. Peace, true peace, for you, for me. And that's what we call freedom. When we have no reactions to these things, people are usually get stuck in. When we really understand the nature of the mind, and how the world is running, how the society is running. We know how easy we can get caught up in the reactions, in all kinds of thoughts, illusions. That awareness set us free truly. It has nothing to do with democracy or human rights or freedom, no matter what they define, by law, by whatever. It's only a game of, it's just a game. It's just a concept. The mental freedom, the inner freedom, cannot be defined in that way, in any way. But we can be free. We can feel free. If we feel free, do we still care about anything called freedom or not? When we are stuck in an ideology to try to seek the meaning of freedom. So when we can deeply feel this, what we call it awakening. So meditation is nothing mysterious. It's very practical, is it? It just lets us to realize what is going on the mind at each moment. It seems that it won't give you any instant answer or solution to your life challenges. But the problem is not the question you have, but why do you have that question? So the solution is not to answer the question you proposed, but to clear the question which you should not have asked if you were okay. So we can say, to meditate is to live a life purely consciously. You don't need to learn any knowledge or theory to understand yourself, which is only a distortion, to be honest. We just need to observe it. Non-judgmentally, without any experience or knowledge. But look at our modern life. How easy to be judgmental, is it? How easy to be able to give a view. So, for many of us, we have given too many views, probably as a reaction to other people's opinions. And we have learned a lot of knowledge from school, from all kinds of places. Here, I don't deny that we shouldn't learn knowledge. Of course, we also need to learn knowledge, like some technical ones, like medical knowledge, to make you still healthy physically. Of course, that's important. But we also need to realize that knowledge is always old, for especially the knowledge about the mind. It's easy for us to acquire knowledge and hold on to it. But our mind is always in a dynamic change. So to understand our mind dynamics, we need to note that knowledge block us from understand what is going on. So, when we notice many small details in life, when we notice that, when we see a new situation, what we do usually is resort to knowledge or experience to interpret it. Oh yeah, it's something I haven't seen before. Oh yeah. But is that really true? Our life is always in a very dynamic change. Every day we have different conditions, situations, which trigger new thoughts, mental status. Can we sit with a fresh mind without letting any knowledge distort it? So you see, that's the challenge for everybody, to observe something freshly. Look at a young kid. When they have no any knowledge at all, they can actually look at things with a much fresher mind than we are. Without this fresh mind, we have knowledge, we have experience, and we get stuck in it. No wonder we can be bored, right? Because we can't really see things freshly. And being bored is a natural consequence of lack of freshness. So now let's move to the next part, to meditate, to take the approach of breath meditation. I think most of us have some experience of meditating, right? So let's just follow the audio guide to meditate, to surrender ourselves to the next 10 minutes. Nothing really matters. Peace and calm is always the top priority, because with that peace and calm, we could observe the mind for clarity. When we are no longer confused about life, there is a clarity. And that very clarity leads to the disappearance of all your life challenges. So, shall we do it now? I will play the audio guide so we can sit still for the next 10 minutes, and then we can come back again for further discussion. Shall we? Yeah. Now, let's take a 10-minute meditation. Start by taking a moment to find a comfortable position to sit in a posture that you feel relaxed and get alert. Let hands rest on your knees or laps. Let the eyes close gently. Soften your forehead. Act a soft smile in the corner of your lips. Breathe naturally. As you breathe in, be aware that you are breathing in. Feel the sensation of breathing in. The region can be the nostrils, can be the belly, can be anywhere. Focus on the part you feel most. As you breathe out, be aware that you are breathing out. Feel the sensation of breathing out. The region can be the nostrils, can be the belly, can be anywhere. Focus on the part you feel most. Fix your attention on the breath. Let go of any thought, words, images. This moment, nothing is more important than breath. Every time you hear the bell, check where your attention is. If it wasn't on the breath, gently invite your attention back to the breath and sustain your attention on the breath. Slowly bring your awareness back to this room. Feel into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. When you are ready, open your eyes. How does everybody feel now after this 10 minutes meditation? Good? I think I can hear you.
I'm feeling relaxed.
Relaxed. You can push the space bar, the space button to talk.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
I think that it took more than 10 minutes for me. Yeah, it was very difficult for me. Yeah, I think that the time is longer than 10 minutes. But now I feel relaxed. Yeah.
That's good. Does anyone have some challenge during this 10 minutes? Actually, it's 12 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes I was distracted by but by the sound of ring. I came back again.
Great.
I was distracted a lot as well. But yeah. So the ring was helpful to bring me back. Overall, it was relaxing.
You see, it's very. We can see, how difficult it is to really not think. We have so many things that can really, distract us all the time. Think about the whole day life. How many things can really distract you when you want to do something, and then another thing just pop up, and we get carried away immediately by that. It's not to get rid of it, but we just see it as they are. Is that our mind is so easily distracted by other things, and then in most daily life, we don't have the awareness of it, right? We always get carried away by thoughts until we just suddenly come back, but only by luck. But doing meditation is not to overcome it, because it's not something we can overcome. It's part of the nature of the mind. We are so interested in thoughts because the mind, the brain, is always prone to activation of the neuron paths. Any new thoughts idea is the activation of neuron paths. It's very easy to be triggered. That's the nature of mind, because our mind, our brain is very sensitive. In the old time, maybe 1,000 years ago, many years ago, it can make us survive. We are so alert, so sensitive. But in the modern life, this nature of the mind can be annoying for each of us. Being carried away by thoughts, obsessed with thoughts, ruminate based on thoughts, living in thoughts is most people's lifestyle, is it? Even now, at this moment, I'm talking about meditation to you guys. But when I speak to you, when I'm speaking, I'm thinking. I'm also in a mood of thinking. It is very subtle, but it's a fact. I need to be in a mode of thinking to tell people not think. What a contradiction is it? But think about the whole day. How many moments we are engaged in speaking, thinking all the time. Nowadays, we have the mobile phone. We have a lot of articles, news to read. It's even worse than radio, right? When we have, in the very old time, when we have radio, we can't really play back. But now you can retrieve the news again, anytime, to trigger your memory, to trigger your thoughts. How difficult it is to forget things. It's so easy, you say, to trigger the neuron paths, to activate it easily, very easily. You think randomly, and then there's a new neuron path formed. But the opposite is difficult, right? And we think we can figure out a way to stop the neuron path, but any way to think only creates new neuron paths. Do you see the contradiction here? We think we can find a solution. We think we can find a solution. But the more we think, the more chaos of the mind. You see, souls are like a whirlpool, right? When we get into it, it is easy to be stuck in it until we had awareness. So the way to let neuron paths come down, which is let us come down actually, right? Is not think. Just come back to the sensation, like what we did in the past 12-minute meditation, to stare our attention on breath, on the sensation, not on thoughts. It is very counterintuitive, right? Because if we think, we won't think in that way at all. We only think, okay, what kind of drug should I take? What kind of amusement should I do to let me forget that thing? Any kind of avoidance only give a new activation of neuron paths. So, to be able to truly awaken to the nature of everything, we need to step out of the thoughts directly, immediately. There's no time like the present. Just take actions immediately. Step back. So that's why we do breath meditation to focus on the sensation. But we have a lot of chances during the day to meditate. Like if you go to supermarket, or you just want to have a walk outside during the day, that's also a wonderful moment to meditate, right? To make a move with that. You see how many people are walking on the street while daydreaming. Think about all kinds of things, benefit, loss, win, advantage, disadvantage, comparing all kinds of things. When they're walking outside, their mind is in a different place. But if we can make these moments to meditate, that's also very valuable, right? Like, if you have time after maybe today, after this session, you walk downstairs, just enjoy the walk, like the support from the ground when you walk, to feel each step. Or just look around. I can, for example, when I'm walking outside or running outside, I regard myself as a camera. So I see the view, but I see the change of the buildings, of the positions. For me, it's very relaxing. Because at that moment, I have no self. I'm just a camera. Just keep receiving the views. To see this building and this building has different relative position to change. If you have time, you can also try this. Hopefully, it also work on you. So, many different ways to meditate. Like when we wash dishes, probably nowadays we have the dishwashers, so it's pity anyway. Maybe when you wash your floor, if you have a chance to wash it, enjoy each action, right? Each tiny action. So try to be conscious and let your thoughts not block you from enjoying this moment. This conscious mental action is meditation. We don't need to go to a temple to sit down for 10 hours. It's good, but I don't think it's really necessary for most people. But if you want to do that, that's also good, very good. But every moment at home, at your life, in your work, we can also meditate. Like in the day, if you have something to do, when you just try to slow down a little bit, to be aware of your mental exhaustion. Maybe you don't need to very strict, but I would say if you have a very busy schedule, maybe every half an hour, every an hour, try to meditate 5 minutes. It is very anti-intuitive, but the result is amazing, I would say. So try to have this awareness to keep reminding ourselves, step back from the thoughts, to counteract our habits at each moment of life. That awareness is a key to meditation. So you see, meditation has a lot of forms, lots of different ones. If you cook food, cooking can be a meditation. It's also very helpful, right? When you cut things, if you daydream, it's easy to cut your fingers. But if you meditate, it's very safe. Because you are aware that you are cutting things, not cutting figures. And you, of course, you can find your own way to meditate, reading books, whatever. So that's why we say that meditation is very individual. It's a very personal practice. But relying this personal practice, everybody can see the nature of the mind, which is the same across all human beings. It is a practice, but it's part of your life, like sleep, eating. So, any questions or anything do you want to say here to communicate? No? Yeah, please.
Yeah, I just have a small question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether the others have the same feeling as me or not. When I try to focus and avoid from being distracted, I after that I feel headache. I don't know why.
When you focus on something, you need to be aware that sometimes it can be difficult to concentrate on something. So don't push hard to do it. Sometimes because it is easy for us to strive for something, strive for being able to concentrate. That striving causes a lot of mental conflicts, and I think the headache is the outer symptom of the neuron conflicts. So try to take it easy. So you can focus on something, but if you find difficult to focus, accept that. And keep doing that. But don't push too hard to it. Because everybody has a different perception of focus on something.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you focus on something too hard. It's give you the issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So if there's no more questions from you guys, we can have another 5-minute meditation to end today's session. So let's keep still here for 5 minutes. There's no guide at all. And after 5 minutes, I will just speak to let everybody wake up. Shall we? Yeah. slowly open your eyes. So that's all for today's session. And I hope this session could be helpful to everyone to calm down a little bit. And I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Enjoy the good weather outside. And be aware of your thoughts. And thank you for being here tonight, for spending the 1 hour together to meditate. And hopefully we can see each other again in the future sessions. And that's it. Bye-bye, everybody. Have a nice evening.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Cico. Bye,
You're
everyone.
welcome.
Have a good week.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Joyce.
Bye.